Hi, my name is Noah Atwood, and I have chosen to focus my project on helping students who have been affected by gun violence. Whether it's being seen on the news or witnessed on the streets or even at a school, gun violence has sadly become a very common occurrence. The number of people having first or second-hand experiences with it increases every year. So what kind of effect does that have on students? Studies show that gun violence can affect adolescents in many different ways, taking a toll on children and youth mentally in the form of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and anger, as well as having a detrimental impact on academic performance. There's also a lack of open resources to help with trauma. Not all families can afford therapy, and parents might not know how to comfort their child experiencing these feelings, or the child may not feel comfortable speaking with their parents about issues like these. Safety was made to provide professional mental health resources for middle and high school students that have been affected by gun violence through an easily accessible mobile app. The logo uses iconography that resembles the trigger of a gun, a heart, and a talking mouth, which reflects the app's subject matter and how it encourages users to speak about their trauma. The app itself connects users to therapists and counselors across the country who specialize in gun violence-related PTSD and trauma, as well as a list of local resources and communities advocating against the issue of gun violence. With a soft green and navy blue color palette and the use of a slightly rounded sans serif typeface, the app visually reinforces that it's a safe space for users to talk about their traumatic experiences. Since the audience for this brand is younger, it was important to make everything accessible through phones, which is why I created an animated Instagram story ad to best reach the target audience. It depicts a hallway of students walking to and from class, but one student is cradled on the ground as they have a trauma-induced panic attack. The ad uses the dynamic movement of animation along with immersive audio to engage the audience, identify the issue, and introduce them to a solution, the app. The billboard ad is used to bring in the secondary target audience of parents, since most middle and high school students don't drive. Through sketch-like visuals and hyperbolic imagery, the ad shows parents a visualization of what their child may be going through. Compositionally, the ad reads left to right, ending with the name of the brand and where it can be found digitally. Parents will be able to show the app to their children if they believe they need it and encourage them to open up about their trauma. Middle and high school students are in their formative years, which is why making resources like therapy easily accessible to them is so important. This is the core of what safety is about. In a time where tragedy has become all too normal, now more than ever we need to work towards showing people that they're not alone, that it's okay to hurt, and that opening up about traumatic experiences is the first step to healing. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Brianna Branch, and my thesis topic addresses the effects of gentrification on Charlotte's local business community. When gentrification is discussed, there's a greater focus on residential communities despite recognizing that local business owners can also be affected. The lasting effects of redevelopment aren't new to Charlotte. In 2019, 120 entrepreneurs in North End were pushed out due to the area's most recent experience with business displacement. The increase in population over the last 10 years has sparked frequent changes in our neighborhoods that are seldom addressed directly. With my 3 products, I aim to shed light on an issue hidden in plain sight. To communicate the needs of my audience, I developed an awareness initiative under the name Underline, with the main goal of promoting local businesses and fostering community between them. The name reinforces the mission to draw attention to smaller establishments and emphasize their contribution to Charlotte neighborhoods. The brand's contrasting color palette reflects the need for awareness and community for local businesses. Underline's secondary symbol refers to the community directly by displaying a hanging sign often associated with storefronts. The first product is an infographic, educating the greater Charlotte community on how to identify business displacement as the city changes. Relevant Charlotte neighborhoods are incorporated within the graphic to highlight long-standing businesses as well as those that have been displaced or closed completely. Posters can be found along bus and light rail stops within the metropolitan area to ensure maximum visibility. The next product is a mobile app that allows business owners to connect with other stores and establishments in their neighborhoods. With the Underline app, users can search for others in their community through a tailored search or changing their location. Accounts can take a short quiz to help recommend others they can connect with. Local shops can collaborate with other stores and promote each other through the platform. The last product is a series of monthly loyalty reward cards, where patrons can shop at participating businesses and receive a sticker per visit. After 3 visits, customers are rewarded with a deal unique to the establishment, whether it be 20% off at checkout or a free slice of pizza. The rewards cards can be found at participating locations each month, highlighting a different duo of local businesses. The goal of Underline is to educate Charlotte citizens on what redevelopment can mean for businesses that help shape the city's culture, as well as give them the ability to create relationships with their peers that go beyond transactions. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Justin Callahan. Today I'll be introducing Reclaim, a campaign that addresses the opioid epidemic in the Charlotte community. Between the years 2000 and 2020, over 28,000 North Carolina residents died by opioid overdose. What started with the overprescribing of medicines for pain management in the 90s and early 2000s has led to a sweeping wave of opioid dependence and overdoses. This epidemic has been exacerbated by the rising flood of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid. Fentanyl is now commonly found in recreational drugs like cocaine or MDMA, is often consumed unknowingly, and has become the leading cause of overdose deaths. Charlotte is no exception to this problem, as 88% of the overdose deaths in 2021 were fentanyl-related. Reclaim is designed to advocate for and destigmatize the public availability of naloxone, a life-saving drug that counters the effects of an opioid overdose when administered promptly. Reclaim serves not only those struggling with opioid addiction, but also recreational drug users who may have unknowingly received fentanyl, as well as community members by giving them the education, tools, and resources to reduce harm and save lives. Because of these goals, I wanted the brand to be perceived as trustworthy, safe, and familiar. The name Reclaim means to take back one's own life or to save another's life. The logo incorporates the visual language of a medical cross and a hand being helpfully extended. The form is repeated 3 times for each of the brand attributes, and the number 3 is often associated with solidarity, optimism, and understanding. The color scheme unites function and psychology. The bright orange associated with energy and urgency is contrasted with blue and green associated with tranquility, security, and sensitivity. These bright colors are meant to be visible in any kind of emergency situation or environment. Through color and bold typography, I reimagined the naloxone kit to stand out in these situations and be a more approachable version of existing kits. To accompany the kit, I simplified its instruction materials, placing emphasis on function, synthesizing information, and creating easily accessible visuals to save time in dire moments. Lastly, I created an Instagram campaign to promote the dissemination of the reclaimed naloxone kits and change perceptions of opioid addiction and harm reduction methods. Through the imagery of everyday people, these ads humanize opioid addiction, emphasize respect for others' choices, and stress the importance of the right to naloxone for those who need it. Reclaim was designed to advocate for naloxone, destigmatize its use, and champion harm reduction tools and resources in order to save lives. This campaign can blossom into many more services like needle exchanges, safe use sites, and drug testing sites. In the end, Reclaim is about public health and giving people the chance to make positive changes in their lives. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joel Clark, and my thesis topic is on providing help for Afghan refugees in Charlotte. Ever since the U.S. withdrew its troops from Afghanistan in August 2021, many Afghan allies who had aided the U.S. in the fight were forced to flee the country under threat of being targeted by the Taliban. It was an unprecedented refugee crisis, and many refugees fled to the U.S. for safety. Since then, over 300 Afghan men, women, and children have come to Charlotte, North Carolina seeking safety and a new home for the time being. But it hasn't been easy for them. These families were forced to leave their home country and were flown to a new one, where they probably don't know anyone, what the culture is like, or even the language. It can be hard for them to get connected to community here, to know what kinds of resources are available to them, or to know how to do necessary tasks such as file their taxes or apply for housing. To get our allies from Afghanistan connected, I created the brand Rooted. The goal of Rooted is to connect Afghan families with the people of Charlotte by directly providing the community with information and resources. The color palette for my brand focuses on green and brown shades to promote the idea of life flourishing and to emphasize the idea of helping people grow new roots in Charlotte, where they can feel connected and secure. My first project I want to take a look at is the website I designed for Rooted. Its purpose is to be a central hub for information for both Charlotte residents and Afghan families. It contains a resources page tailored with links to organizations and other resources that are available to refugees either by the government or nonprofit org. There are categories to different types of resources, with each option giving information about how the organization meets that need and links to the websites. There's also an About page and a Contact page if people need help using the site or want to reach out on how to get involved. The website is available in a mobile format since many Afghan families do not yet own computers. I created an Instagram campaign to promote the website and to also bring awareness to the refugee community and promote other helpful organizations in Charlotte. The posts use my branding and colors to create a familiar brand on Instagram when people see the posts. The animated elements of these posts are designed to help stand out as people scroll through their Instagram feed. The posts link both to the Rooted website and also to other organizations who are helping in the area. Lastly, I designed a set of flashcards that would help with the initial language barriers. Serving the purpose of both helping learn the language to using the cards for communication, they are double-sided, providing the translation from Persian Dari, the official language of Afghanistan, to English, along with accompanying illustrations. The cards include words and phrases that would be most useful towards their community, such as a section focusing on words used for the public transit system in Charlotte, or words to help in a school setting. Using Rooted, I hope to bring awareness to this wonderful community in Charlotte and to encourage people and families to come alongside them as they continue to adapt to living in such a different country. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Andy Diaz, and I will be informing you about the importance of including LGBTQ subjects in the elementary school curriculum so that they will feel more inclusive and welcoming for kids. There have been laws and petitions being signed to exclude topics of LGBTQ and gender identity in the curriculum. Parents and government officials believe that these topics are taboo to young children and should be left as a private discussion at home. This pushes exclusivity in a place that is supposed to be welcoming to all diverse groups, resulting in queer children left vulnerable to bullying and depression. Opening up these topics to children at a young age allows them to grow up to be more accepting and understanding of diversity and would improve the curriculum and create a safe space for children to feel more comfortable in their own skin. And that's where True Hue was born. With my brand, I aim to reflect on that concept of not being afraid of showing your genuine self. I chose a pastel pink for kindness and compassion, a pastel yellow for balance and optimism, and a pastel blue for soothing and peace to communicate a welcoming and comforting tone. And I utilized the colors that represent the LGBTQ flag as a signification towards the LGBTQ community and cute characters called Hueys to create an amusing visual to the audience. For my 3 products, I created an infographic, activity worksheet, and a children's book. The infographic is targeted towards the older adult audience who try to steer away from the discussion. It contains statistics from my research on the negative impacts against LGBTQ subjects in the curriculum. This would be displayed on community bulletin boards where important information is easily accessible and viewed by the public. The activity worksheet contains an About Me page on the front where children can share their favorite things and a happy memory, as well as draw their own character in the shape of the sun to show that they're their own star. The back is a collaborative activity path where kids complete tasks with peers, family, and teachers, and stick a Huey sticker when they complete the task. And once completed, they are free to create their own happy place all over the page. Lastly, the children's book, Who Are You?, is a story about an LGBTQ student who feels like an outcast during a self-expression class activity, as their peers don't understand them or even try to. But little do they know there are others just like them, and gradually the rest of the class realizes that they aren't any different than them and play together as one unified rainbow. With True Hue, I want to encourage that the instruction of LGBTQ subjects is safe to discuss with children in the classroom. With appropriate education and exposure, we can help them grow to be accepting of diversity and feel that the educational environment is a safe space to be you. It's okay to show your true hue. Thank you for your time.
Hello, and my name is Marcos Diaz, and today I'll be introducing the Relay Podcast. After a series of research and interviews, I explored how many DACA recipients are still discouraged from enrolling in college after high school and finishing their degrees because they are unable to obtain financial and in-state tuition aid. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It protects eligible immigrants who came to the United States when they were children from deportation and provides a work permit and a chance to go to public schools from K to 12. According to the Higher Ed Immigration Portal, North Carolina is one of 8 states that have known policies that actively bar access to in-state tuition or state financial aid for the state's undocumented students, including DACA recipients. DACA recipients who aren't receiving tuition and financial assistance must work lengthy hours, which cuts into their study time. These obstacles can have an impact on their academic performance, particularly when compared to their documented peers who some do not experience the same. With facts like these, I wanted to spread awareness and advocate more specifically those that have completed high school but did not continue their education by providing guides, advice, and tips and sharing experiences for those wishing to continue expanding their career within the Latin community in the Charlotte area. The Relay podcast features diverse subject topic matters which will give not just those under DACA, but everyone access to a whole world of knowledge and wisdom by sharing and listening. The idea is carried over in the logo, depicting the letter R in the shape of a dish antenna. Relay, for which means receive and pass on messages, the gradients of blue give a calming effect to stand for wisdom, confidence, inspiration, faith, and intelligence. The podcast purpose is to be informative and educate the audience, and I believe the word relay and the colors chosen best represent spreading awareness. For example, jobs out there depending where would give employees opportunities to get certified with certain skills within the company. That is something that is featured in the podcast episode, a way to help out others with information in order for them to expand their careers. My first product is a video of a complete episode with a collaboration of another podcast, KB Talk. This episode is in 2 versions, one short clip that is posted on Instagram and a complete episode that will be presented in my exhibition and on YouTube for people to view. The episode talks about what DACA is and the importance to many in terms of education, sharing the experience of those who shared their stories and give advice. The short clip is meant to catch the attention of the viewers if they wish to continue watching the rest of the video. My second product is 2 podcast ads, which provide information on what days and time the podcast airs and will be available on some platforms. My final product is an Instagram campaign that features testimonial posts of those interviewed with quotes or advice and sharing a short description as well as a sneak peek of the episode of the podcast. This design will benefit DACA recipients in Charlotte's Latin community by the creation of the podcast, which offers a variety of subject matter areas that will provide access to a vast body of knowledge and for everyone through sharing and listening, not only those covered by DACA. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joy Evans, and I'll be discussing Black food trucks in Charlotte and introducing my project, Queen City Cuisine. Through my project, Queen City Cuisine, I'm garnering more appreciation for what it takes to run a Black food truck in Charlotte. Utilizing interviews, I have highlighted these business owners' experiences. Throughout all 3 projects, the color schemes of purple, bluish teals, and whites, reminiscent of the Charlotte Hornets, is utilized. I believe these colors conjure a feeling of pride of Charlotte and its culture. The Queen City Cuisine logo itself resembles a plate and wheel, items I associate with mobile food cuisine. Looking around Charlotte's thriving food scene, you'll notice a variety of Black-owned restaurants. The Queen City is a proud home to a thriving Black food culture scene. If you take a closer look, you'll notice more than traditional restaurants. You'll see thriving Black-owned food trucks. These businesses on wheels cook up authentic dishes, their mobility being an advantage. Despite this, Black-owned businesses are disproportionately more likely to be denied loans and struggle financially. On top of that, getting one's food out there and received by the general public is quite a process that goes deeper than simply selling food via a vehicle. These things can be difficult in a climate of inflation. Gas prices and produce prices are on the rise. My first project is an illustrated comic. The highs and lows of running a food truck business serves as the backbone of the comic storyline. Fluctuating temperatures in a food truck, finding a location to be stationed, and sharing authentic foods with the Charlotte community are all factors included in this story. This comic is designed to inspire more support for food trucks and inspire a deeper understanding of what it takes to run them. The second project is a Queen City Cuisine website. This website will act as a hub for all things Black food truck culture in the Queen City. Users can share their own food truck stories, learn more about individual businesses, and locate food trucks near them to support. The aforementioned comic will also be available to view via this site. My third project is a simple business card advertising the Queen City Cuisine website. A QR code will allow easy access to this site. As a lover of food truck cuisine myself, I want to share Black business owners' stories, advocate for them, and display to the public how they have contributed to the thriving Charlotte food scene and deserve continuous support. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Karina Helmer, and today I will be informing you on the severity and secrecy related to child sexual abuse. In the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, sexual abuse against children younger than the age of 13 has been at an all-time high. Since children are vulnerable and more likely to succumb to pressure by adults they trust, this issue continues to be hidden from the public and is worsening. After speaking with Brave Step, a nonprofit organization in Charlotte empowering individuals impacted by sexual violence, I learned that it is most common for children to know their abuser. 75% of Brave Step's patients are adults who survived sexual abuse in their childhood, and 91% of these victims were abused by a family member. That being said, adults should not just warn children of strangers, but rather consider that the danger could be closer to home. My brand, Illuminate, sheds light onto the issue of sexual abuse against children and highlights the commonalities amongst perpetrators and victims themselves. The typeface and color palette resemble a childlike aesthetic, emphasizing the unsettling playfulness of the brand. I created posters intended to evoke an emotional response from the viewer, highlighting the secrecy and seriousness of child sexual abuse. I constructed miniature houses that appear to be welcoming, with a stuffed bear placed inside each home. Once photographed, I manipulated the image through color to create an uncomfortable, thought-provoking composition. The focal point is the bear, looking upset in what appears to be a happy home. Information regarding commonalities amongst children victim to sexual abuse is incorporated in both posters, emphasizing the message of the work and its purpose. Utilizing my brand, I created a series of tote bags and buttons. Tote bags are a popular functional product used for transportation of various items. Each tote bag is designed to promote my brand and provide information pertaining to sexual abuse against children. Buttons are often pinned onto tote bags and products similar, therefore the creation of various buttons further promotes Illuminate with the inclusion of disturbing illustrations and text. To emphasize the unsettling tone of the brand, I designed activity sheets that convey fear and unease. Viewers are intended to interact with this product and become exposed to the topic of child sexual abuse. The activity sheets compose of childlike illustrations presented in a way that evoke unpleasant emotions. Illuminate is an accessible, intriguing, and thought-provoking brand that encourages adults to take action and recognize the issue of child sexual abuse in the Charlotte area. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Anthony Jefferson, and I want to bring awareness to the Charlotte community of high school dropouts who are looking to continue their education and provide them with resources and proper encouragement to do so. Data gathered from the NC Department of Public Instruction and reports shared by the Charlotte Observer show that within the last 5 to 6 years, out of all the students that dropped out, over half were due to poor attendance and lack of interest, with the COVID-19 pandemic only making these problems worse. Because of this, many of these students failed to graduate simply due to their attendance grades holding them back. People out there dropping out often come from situations where they lack the proper support and resources to finish their education. As a result, they end up feeling regretful about being unable to finish high school and struggle to find better paying jobs while not having their GED. This is important to note because this lack of support and motivation is often what drives people to failure. To assist the community, I want to do the following. Provide dropouts access to resources to continue their education, to encourage and inform people about the benefits of acquiring their GED, and to provide them with a sense of community and support structure. To achieve these goals, I have created a support brand named Rebound. For the brand standards, I decided the brand itself should have a neutral feeling using a monotone and relaxed teal style color palette, to give a mature and comforting appearance that users can remember. Rebound is meant to inform and encourage users through the use of 3 products: promotional posters, a support app, and a support package. The Rebound support app is the highlight of the brand. The main features of the app include a digital forum where users can share resources and stories on continuing education, a digital planning feature meant to help bring users a set structure and help them plan out their day and manage time responsibly. Finally, a resources page with links to organizations, professionals, and more groups that specialize in assisting people in finding careers and education opportunities. The support package will consist of a collection of materials and items that could assist someone when they do work and/or study. Utilizing branding standards, the package is designed in a simplistic style with illustrations on the cover showcasing the contents present within the box itself. The items included within are greeting cards meant to help users facilitate communication and/or open up about continued education, a planner/notebook, various school materials, and finally some fun stickers that the user can place on the materials and items. The promotional posters were designed with the objective to motivate viewers to continue their education and also promote the brand itself through the use of composited photos. The scenes presented within the composite is meant to be relatable and connect with the viewer emotionally. The posters will be placed around Charlotte in a high-traffic area such as transit stations and urban areas to best promote the app to a large number of people. With Rebound, I wanted to provide access to resources, encourage and inform people about the benefits of acquiring the GED, and provide a sense of community for dropouts and people looking to kickstart their educational journey. Just because you may have had some setbacks in the past doesn't mean they need to hold you back today. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Terry Johnson, and I'll be talking to you about a brand created to help parents, young adults, and kids deal with loss due to suicide. According to Mental Health America, during the years 2019 and 2020, 50 million adults experienced mental health issues, and more than half of these adults did not receive treatment. Along with this, 1 in 10 youth who are covered under private insurance do not have coverage for mental or emotional difficulties. This leaves people to find an outlet themselves to deal with their grief and trauma. Because of this, I interviewed a wide variety of people currently in their grieving process, from parents suffering from child loss, young adults who've recently lost their parents, and even grief counselors who work with kids at Kindermourn. One thing they all had in common is that they knew that the process of grief was hard and different for everyone. This is where I thought my designs could contribute the most. Through this brand, people can figure out where they can get help and take their minds off of the current pain that they're experiencing. Thus, GOO was formed. GOO, or Glad You Exist, focuses on the growth and development of our community's mental health. GOO has a welcoming color palette that uses tints and shades of pink and hand-lettered text to connect with its community. The brand's name is spelled out to create a heart and gives off a caring and warm aesthetic. I want GOO to be viewed as a glue that the community can use to help tackle their mental health and grief together. For GOO, I created 3 products: interactive posters, wellness cards, and apparel. For the posters, I would like them to be placed randomly around Charlotte so that viewers can have a special encounter with them on their daily adventures. On the posters, there is hand-lettered text that has messages of encouragement for the community. Accompanying them would be different tasks for the viewers to complete. The first poster grants the audience an opportunity to color in a section of the poster. The second poster will have seed bags that will accompany it so people can take them and plant the seeds and watch them bloom during the grieving process. The third and final poster consists of a QR code that viewers can scan to listen to a playlist filled with calming lo-fi beats curated by the GOO family. Next, GOO's wellness cards. These cards are made to be sent to friends and family members during their grieving process. There are 3 different cards, but on the front of each are kind words or affirmations. On the back of the first card, there is a simple task that can be completed to take people's mind off of their current situation. The second card is more information-based and notifies the receiver of nearby therapy resources that they can use. Third card is one where friends and family members can write a personal message and send it to the recipient. The final product of the GOO campaign will be apparel. The apparel will have a message from GOO on hoodies and shorts. The message as a whole will allow the ones who wear it to know that we are glad that they exist and allow any passerby to feel that same comforting warmth from the GOO community. The clothing article was followed the same hand lettering style of the products as well as keeping true to the same pink color palette as the posters and the wellness cards. With the development of GOO, I wanted to spread positivity and resources for mental health. GOO is there to allow its community to free themselves from their grief and trauma for a brief moment so that they can begin to heal and bloom. Because of the rising conversation on mental health and the lack of talk around grief, I wanted to produce a brand that lets people recognize that it's okay for them to take time off and heal and grieve. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sydney Moses, and today I'll be talking to you about climate change and my campaign, Green Up. Climate change is a cause of many issues, such as poor air quality, food insecurity, exposure to polluted water, and economic disruption. Unfortunately, certain communities are more likely to be exposed to these hazards, an occurrence known as environmental injustice. Such is the case for Charlotte's historic West End, a neighborhood historically used for highway infrastructure and industrial zoning. Because of this, people living in the area are exposed to elevated levels of air pollution, increasing their risk of heart disease, stroke, and asthma. This neighborhood is largely populated by communities of color who face the long-term consequences of redlining. Knowing the historic West End is only one example of multiple communities facing environmental injustice, I was motivated to create a project to bring awareness to this long-standing issue and promote action and change within the Charlotte community. To begin, I created a brand identity for my awareness campaign titled Green Up. The name references the environmental term cleanup, which refer to a set of actions taken to deal with the release of hazardous substances that could adversely affect public health and the environment. The color palette hints at the idea of being environmentally conscious by using mostly greens to elicit a vibrant, fresh, and earthy feeling. The brand aims to further encourage my goal, which is to make Charlotte a more environmentally clean city for all people. The first product is a billboard. When researching, I discovered that children are at a higher risk for health complications caused by air pollution. This is because their brains and lungs are still developing, they spend more time outdoors, and they breathe at faster rates than adults. Combined, these factors leave children vulnerable to pollution. With this in mind, the billboard would ideally be located on a busy highway. It depicts an image of an innocent and visibly distressed child being consumed by car emissions. The imagery is eye-catching, provoking an emotional response within the drivers below. It makes them contemplate the effects that excessive driving has on their environment and their community. An Instagram social media campaign is used to relay information to a younger audience who would most likely be using social media on a daily basis. The 9 posts feature 5 carousels of images with bold typographic statements such as, "How can your carbon emissions be reduced?" The campaign aims to briefly introduce information on environmental injustice with posts that could be read and swiped through quickly. Using graphics, arrows, and rules, I aim to guide the viewer to scroll through the post and absorb the material throughout. The last product is a website for Green Up. It is the main source of information for the campaign and offers detailed descriptions for each goal. Links to climate change organizations encourage viewers to learn more and get involved. Additionally, the website showcases local climate history and prompts the viewers to take action by providing details on how to implement changes in their daily lives. Using the same brand colors as the billboard and social media campaign keeps the 3 products consistent to articulate a common message and theme. Ultimately, I crafted these 3 solutions to create higher rates of interaction within the Charlotte community, and I am hopeful these kinds of tools will help make a difference and prevent future environmental injustice. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Brian Pender, and I'm here to talk to you about the Peace Not Peace campaign, a movement aimed at raising awareness in an attempt to reduce gun violence amongst young men ages 16 to 34. First, I want to recognize that this is not a uniquely Charlotte problem. Gun violence has been a public health crisis in the United States for years, with it now being the #1 leading cause of death amongst teens. However, Charlotte does have a problem. The number of homicides has increased by 8% from 2021 to 2022, and many of the victims and suspects of these homicides are young men within the ages of 18 to 34. Additionally, there are about 45,000 disconnected youths in Charlotte. These are people aged 16 to 24 that are neither employed or in school. Peace Not Peace is an awareness-based campaign whose goal is to draw attention to the ongoing gun violence problem in Charlotte. By using graphic design, this campaign aims to draw awareness to the problem, raise funds to support the effort against this problem, as well as spread information to people in order to connect them with proper resources fighting this problem. With my demographic being on the younger side, I wanted to engage with products that would have more interactions and interest within this group. I chose to design clothing apparel, posters, and a social media campaign. These products are things that the youth or younger generations are constantly involved in or looking at, and I wanted to incorporate this message into these facets in an effort to invoke action. The posters consist of a graphic of a decaying or discarded gun existing in different outside settings such as a grass field or just plain dirt. I combine guns that are common amongst civilians such as pistols and AR-15s with flowers, a symbol of not only peace but also of love and growth. It is meant to convey the idea of what would happen if one was to discard or dispose of their guns, the amount of peace, love, and prosperity that could grow from that sole decision. The posters are meant to exist in public spaces for a variety of people to see. For the social media aspect, I created an Instagram account which was used to post the posters as well as pictures of the clothing apparel. In the caption of the pictures of the apparel, there's brief information about some of the organizations that the proceeds from the sales will be donated to, as previously mentioned. The apparel for the campaign doubles as a fashion statement as well as a form of call to action. As previously stated, the money made from any clothing sales will be donated to organizations within the city working to curb this problem. For the design, I converted the 3 posters into t-shirts essentially, making the design a wearable statement, allowing people who wear it to help spread the message. The ultimate goal of Peace Not Peace is to build awareness amongst the community as well as generate funds that can be directly applied to resources helping to reduce gun violence. Gun violence is a long-standing problem in our country that needs to be looked at from all possible angles. And starting locally with a focus on the younger generation who is suffering the most is one of the first steps to making a safer and better place for everyone to live. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Richard Tran, and for my senior thesis, I dedicated my focus on the cyclist community in Charlotte. Charlotte is one of the most car-dependent cities in the United States, with nearly 90% of workers who commute by car. With that, they're also known for being one of the most dangerous places to drive in, ranking in the top 25 for the past 5 years. With dangerous roads that are primarily utilized by cars, it becomes very difficult for commuters to consider alternative modes of transportation like cycling in fear of their safety. Although Charlotte has dedicated a few of their roads to have lane for bicycles, these portions are far from being safe for cyclists to utilize due to the high amount of reckless drivers and disrespected lanes. To address this issue, I designed 3 products to achieve safer roads for cyclists by raising awareness of the cyclist community, educating current and future drivers of their two-wheeled relatives, as well as advocating for safer and responsible drivers on the road. For my community, I want cyclists to be able to ride alongside cars and cruise safely as everyone deserves to be. With that, I named my campaign One. The One campaign contains 3 products that helps guide the city of Charlotte to a brighter, greener future. The use of green is a color that sparks inspiration and represents growth, which contrasts very well with the use of white. In my first product, I designed Ride Along, a whimsical yet educational board game to teach future drivers about cyclist safety and inform them of the dangers on the road. This game supports cyclists in teaching the next generation about the many dangers while biking, as well as how to keep themselves safe at the same time. Every round, the group will encounter a hazard card, which can only be avoided through the use of point cards and power cards. Point and power cards refer to the various safety equipment commonly used by cyclists. Players with the highest point card gets to travel further on the map, while the player with the lowest point card gets the hazard card. Once you've collected 5 hazard cards, you're out. In order to win, players must reach their destination by avoiding hazards or be the last one biking. For my second product, I designed a website that educates users as well as advocates them to take action. The website is designed to be a fluid journey as users slowly gain information while scrolling through each section. This supports cyclists by informing drivers about their home's history, gaining knowledge of the benefits of biking and the impacts on our community, as well as providing a place for them to learn more and pledge to be safe to others while driving. Afterwards, users are offered to promote safe driving through the option to get on-site products. In my third product, I explored the use of on-site tools. Having a product that is on the road serves as a constant reminder for drivers to be safe and cognizant of others, which not only inspires safer drivers but also welcomes respected roads for cyclists to cruise on. To further strengthen the campaign, people who have taken the pledge to be responsible on the road will be able to get bumper stickers to spread the message and invite others to join the movement to be safe for everyone. Cycling has shown to be very beneficial when included within a city. However, Charlotte has a long way to go before their roads are safe for everyone to use. Until then, we must continue to educate current and future drivers on road safety, as well as advocate for the use of bicycles for Charlotte to have a brighter, greener future, one pedal at a time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Van Voris, and I will be introducing to you the Dog Days of Summer Adoption Project. Since the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of animal shelters, including Charlotte's own CMPD Animal Care and Control, have experienced excessive amounts of animal shelter overcrowding. The main reason why is due to people surrendering their pets to the shelter after either finding a new job and can't take care of the pet, big lifestyle changes, economic troubles, moving homes, etc. Unfortunately, it's to the point where euthanasia has been used to put down sick or unadoptable animals. My goal for this project is to promote and educate the Charlotte community about pet adoption in hopes that I can help alleviate the pressure of animal shelter overcrowding for the city. I want people to know that adopting a pet can be beneficial for not only shelters, but also for the animal and owner as well, and give people a way to prepare their home and budget for adopting a new pet. In order to make this happen, I went with a brand aesthetic that was fun, cute, and approachable, while also evoking the bright colors and themes of summertime. Adopting a pet comes with a lot of responsibility and shouldn't be done on impulse. However, it doesn't have to be a daunting experience either. Much like going on vacation, it should be something that the whole family plans and prepares for. My Beginner's Guide to Pet Adoption brochure educates and prepares someone for what to expect when adopting a new pet. It includes important information about the adoption process, budgeting for food and medical expenses, as well as how to ease a pet into their new home. In addition, it includes a convenient checklist of supplies to have ready before adopting your pet. Moving on to my dog shampoo brand, Wet n Wild Dog Shampoo. This product reflects the aesthetic themes that I established for the project while also educating the user of how important a dog bath can be for building a trusting bond with one's dog. Finally, my promotional material for the Dog Days of Summer event is a series of web ads that will feature a variety of dogs having fun during the summer. These ads will not only bring awareness to the event itself, but it would also get people to notice the cute dogs and encourage them to check it out. With this series of products and advertisements, I aim to promote the adoption of animals and educate the public about the importance of adopting from shelters. If animal shelters continue to stay full, it makes caring for new and incoming animals challenging and leads to hard decisions being made. Shelter staff, veterinarians, and animal control all work tirelessly to save the lives of animals in their care, and by adopting, one helps to do the same exact thing. And for that, an animal is always grateful.
Hi, I'm Manisa. The community I've chosen to work with are refugee children. Having to leave your home country under forced circumstances can feel overwhelming and isolating. At the end of 2021, the UNHCR estimated that 41% of the refugee population are under the age of 18. Refugee children have a higher rate of experiencing mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. These symptoms are often accompanied by academic problems, behavioral difficulties, and attachment issues. Multiple studies have proven art therapy and art education to be effective in helping kids express their emotional state while reducing symptoms of stress. For children who are refugees, communicating and expressing oneself can be a challenge. I designed a campaign called Artsy, with the goal of helping refugee kids create, communicate, and connect with those around them. For the branding, a recognizable visual identity sets a playful mood and tone, which can be seen in the paint splashes and line work that are limited to a vibrant color palette. These elements create movement and evoke a sense of play with the viewers to remind them of the fun aspects of being a child. To achieve my goals, an art kit with different art supplies and prompts is produced. Examples of prompts include photography, painting, clay making, and many more. It's designed to be physically interactive with multiple usages. Aside from delivering supplies, it can be used as storage or a coloring board. This will benefit the community as they'll have direct access to creative practices. These resources can help them process information, build confidence, and heal by communicating it through their creations. A social media account is implemented to educate non-refugees about the importance of art, to share impact stories, and to advocate for the cause. To connect with the viewers through empathy, I use branded components, intriguing text, and persuasive imagery to catch their attention. Through Instagram, I can get the campaign across to users of different demographics from all over the world. Furthermore, it will be used as a platform to direct the viewers to the website. The website is utilized as the primary way to fund the art kits through direct donations or by purchasing a kid's artwork. By receiving a tangible item, the donors have something to remind them of the good deed, and it allows the opportunity to build connections with the young artists. The show and tell section is important for the kids to share their results so they can feel connected and welcomed into the community. Showing positive impacts can motivate someone to come back to the brand or tell others, which helps to spread awareness for the cause. Refugees contribute positively to our society. They will persevere until they're able to build a new life for themselves, but they can't reach their full potential unless they are in good physical and mental health. Thank you.